on Operation Sindoor. Let's first begin by your assessment. Now we have the advantage of hindsight. What do you really make of Operation Sindoor, particularly keeping in mind what happened between 7th of May and let's take one day more as to what really happened post Operation Sindoor?
Sure. Well, thanks for having me, and it's a great honor to not just be with you, but also to be studying the war, like you said, and to be spending the time, because in my research, not just who you get to talk to, but your willingness to go to certain places. You know, go to the Basiran, go to the Pahalgam, go to the north to understand where many of the action took place, as much as here with the leadership. You know, of course, I thought that the world was missing a very important story. As somebody who studies war around the world, and I'm covering many wars right now, written about many wars, like you, covered many areas from Ukraine to my work in the Middle East. I agree with you that I believe that Operation Sindoor will be, and one of the reasons I want to do the book. I write case studies. I write what actually happened, not just the stories that came out, but the full picture of what happened so that we all can learn the right lessons. Of course, I believe the lessons of Operation Sindoor is this strategic shift in India's doctrine, right. The strategic evolution of Indian military capabilities that were demonstrated in Sindoor, because we can all talk all the talk and talk to all leaders and hear about the talking points, but war puts everything to the test. It puts your political apparatus, your military apparatus to the test, and that to me is the story of Sindoor and the strategic change, because some wars, there's a lot that goes on, not all of it's important, not all of it's what we call decisive, and you mentioned that. It's really important to me as a researcher. I think it was a decisive moment in India's history and growth, what happened during Operation Sindoor, not just changing its response, and the book kind of goes through that, like what were the responses to 26/11, to Balakot, and everywhere, Uri, all those right. in between. That starts on May 7th, of course, which is a change in India, which is very important to record those strategic down to the tactical changes.
In fact, we live in an era of forever war. Here, the question was about a calibrated, a decisive war that was carried out. As an expert, as a war veteran yourself, what actually makes the huge differentiator factor for Operation Sindoor? In your opinion, what makes it different than operations worldwide?
So this is what I talk about when and I have a book coming out even before this book about the Azerbaijan-Armenia wars over Karabakh, and what people took from that. What was the deciding difference in Operation Sindoor was, of course, what started it, and the history of what people expected India to do. I started my research in India, of course, with 26/11, and having walked every site of the Mumbai attack, and then studied the response. And to see and to map out in the book the evolution of 26/11 response and the kind of the interest of India to have this political kind of reaction and international involvement to the post-Balakot reforms, that aspect. What makes it different for me is that it was a limited war where the political leadership set a very limited objective to reestablish deterrence, to change their approach to cross-border terrorism, and then to translate that to the military, so there's no disconnect. And in some wars there often is, of what the political leadership says they're doing and the military says they're doing. And understanding even India's involvement from the creation of the CDS to the way that that tri-service jointness is happening. What makes it different is that conclusiveness.
It's almost over a year now, and you've extensively worked on this. You've spoken to those who actually ran the war.